Live from downtown Detroit, home of WDIV and Click on Detroit, Local 4 News at 5 starts now.
Unemployment problems revealed. Michiganders with real issues letting lawmakers know they are frustrated and need help. Help me, Hank, with that story tonight.
Temperatures south of 90 degrees today, but we will get there 3 days in a row. Find out if the thunderstorms are coming with it coming up.
Vice President Pence makes a stop in Macomb County, pushing jobs and the economy.
We really do believe that we're in the middle of a great American comeback.
A busy day for Vice President Mike Pence in Michigan today.
Another reminder of our state's importance in the election. He brought the Trump campaign's themes to an auto supply plant in Sterling Heights. Before that, taking time out to speak one-on-one with our Rod Maloney. Now, Rod, this was not officially a campaign stop, but man, it sure had the feel of one.
Well, official, unofficial, doesn't really matter. We're across the street from the Engine House. This is where the vice president came for lunch. In fact, he had lunch with Republican Senate candidate John James, spent quite a bit of time with him, then went off to the auto plant. And the vice president told me today, as you might expect, that he believes Michigan wants re-election.
Rod, the people of Michigan said yes to President Donald Trump in 2016, and I know they're going to say yes to 4 more years of President Donald Trump in 2020, because here in the heartland, they saw a president who kept every promise that he made.
Macomb County is pivotal to winning Michigan, which is why the vice president is here. He also knows recent poll numbers show former Vice President Joe Biden with a comfortable lead across the state. So visits like this one are meant to motivate the base. One of the things Pence believes will also help the president is recent economic improvements as the COVID crisis abates.
Now, according to the U.S. Chamber, some 80% of small businesses are open. So America's going back to work. America and Michigan are opening up again. We really do believe that we're in the middle of a great American comeback.
Governor Gretchen Whitmer's come under considerable criticism for her severe lockdown, and yet one tracking program claims that Michigan is one of 2 states, along with New York, with the strictest lockdowns that are putting the state on track to contain the virus. Mr. Pence worked with the governor as leader of the federal virus task force, wasn't critical of her decisions, just happy to see the state rebounding.
A real testament to the sacrifices the American people have made, people of Michigan have made. But we're proving now that we can safely reopen our country, and we're going to continue to work with states around the country to make that happen.
Now, he also said that one of the reasons why we're seeing this bounce back in the economy is because of the foundation that was laid by the Trump administration prior to the virus coming, and he believes that that will continue to propel the state and the country forward in the months to come. Back to you.
So, Rod, the news of the day includes the Supreme Court decision on the so-called Dreamers, and the vice president had a lot to say about that, too.
Yeah, he did talk a lot about that, Devin, and what he said was that he did not feel that the Supreme Court should be in the business of legislating from the bench, but he says that's what they did in this particular case, and also the ruling from the other day.
Yeah, and we will have more, by the way, on that Supreme Court decision coming up here in just a few minutes. Karen.
Governor Whitmer has extended Michigan's state of emergency through July 16th, and that gives her the power to continue issuing executive orders related to the coronavirus. Now, it was set to expire tomorrow. It has been the subject of controversy in Lansing, with Republican lawmakers suing to stop the emergency order. In a statement today, the governor says every state in the nation is maintaining its state of emergency.
Thousands still struggling to file for unemployment here in Michigan, and others are now dealing with identity theft issues.
Today, lawmakers got to hear about the challenges real Michiganders are facing and decide what can be done to fix these issues sooner rather than later. Here's our consumer investigator, Hank Winchester.
So many of you have had problems with unemployment. It has been really difficult to get the answers that you need. But today, an opportunity to let those in charge know what's working and what's not. UIA technical glitches and now massive identity theft problems have caused huge issues for many trying to file for unemployment here in Michigan. I've heard from many of you who are frustrated.
I get into the voice response unit in the department, but then it disconnects.
Today, an opportunity for lawmakers in Lansing to hear from people who are struggling, real Michiganders and business owners with problems and real complaints.
I didn't try to call 100 times a day, but I did try to call every day, multiple times a day. Doesn't matter if it was Monday through Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Nothing was changing. They weren't answering the phone.
Everyone agrees the system had big issues and was overwhelmed.
I do think it's a multifaceted issue. I think some are user errors, some are, small things. I think that fraud is a part of it and identity theft is a part of it. I think there's a lot that needs to be addressed.
The question now, how to help those still struggling and what can be done to make sure this does not happen again.
I was like 8 weeks without any contact from unemployment. And there was just no way I could get through daily.
Another big question people want answered is why haven't the Unemployment Insurance Agency offices opened across the state of Michigan? We are now getting some answers and learning why. I'll have that part of the story for you new tonight at 6 o'clock. We're here in News Center. Hank Winchester, help me, Hank.
Hank, we will see you at 6. A new auto insurance law takes effect next month. Tonight, Mayor Duggan is going to hold a forum to walk you through the changes. He'll be joined by an attorney and a representative from AAA, all to try to explain how to lower your monthly premiums. You are encouraged to have your auto insurance bill handy so that you can follow along. It's going to happen this evening at 7 p.m., and you can watch it on our website at clickondetroit.com.
All right, let's talk about the weather, and it is sure getting a little steamy outside as we take a look at downtown Detroit from our Windsor Skycam.
Yeah, let's head to Ben's place. Ben, we've had an ozone action day today, and I guess a repeat performance in the offing for tomorrow.
Yep, 2 in a row. These are our first ones of the season, guys, so it's important to sort of go back and figure out what does this mean for you and me. It's most of the area that's going to be under this alert, and that's for ozone that's down near the ground level. When it's up high, it's fine. It actually protects us from a lot of the harmful rays of the sun, but when it gets down near the surface, it can cause breathing issues. So if you've got respiratory issues like asthma, or even if you're just on the very young or very old scale, make sure you take it easy. Limit any outdoor activity as much as you can tomorrow. So if you do have those issues with breathing, stay inside as well. Also, for everybody else, try to delay your errands, carpool if you can, and if you have to fill up your car, do it early in the day or late at night, and try to avoid that peak heating when that ozone formation is more likely. 91 Saturday, 90 on Sunday. That's 2 of the 3 days that we're going to be seeing 90s, and that's our best chance of thunderstorms on Father's Day. We'll talk about how the humidity is going to make things feel over Father's Day weekend, and some much better chances of rain, all in the 7-day forecast coming up, guys.
And now back to the surprise decision we mentioned earlier from the U.S. Supreme Court. The court blocked the Trump administration's efforts to end the DACA program. That's the Obama-era initiative that lets children brought to this country illegally as children avoid deportation later in life. Supporters celebrated this decision outside the Supreme Court this afternoon, but as Alice Barr shows us, the future is still uncertain. Alice?
Devin, young undocumented immigrants who've spent nearly their whole lives in this country went to the Supreme Court today prepared to protest and wound up celebrating instead. On the steps of the Supreme Court today, a leap forward for the rights of young immigrants known as Dreamers.
There were doors closing, and right now things don't seem like they're against us for now. So I'm pretty happy.
Chief Justice John Roberts was the swing vote in a 5-4 decision that blocks the Trump administration from shutting down the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals program enacted under President Obama. DACA has allowed nearly 800,000 young people brought to this country illegally as children to avoid deportation. Jesus Contreras is a paramedic who came to the U.S. at age 6.
I have been on the edge for the last few months, just kind of worried, to death on what the decision of the Supreme Court was going to be.
While a win for Dreamers, the ruling leaves the door open for the Trump administration to try again to shut DACA down by offering a more detailed justification.
Until we have permanent legislation that can secure our place in this country, we will always be worried.
The Senate's top Democrats speaking to Dreamers outside the Supreme Court today.
And I am confident that they will become American citizens someday soon.
It's the second time this week the conservative court has ruled against the Trump administration in a major case, following Monday's decision protecting LGBTQ workers. President Trump taking today's ruling personally, tweeting, "Do you get the impression that the Supreme Court doesn't like me?" and saying, quote, "These horrible and politically charged decisions are shotgun blasts in the face of conservatives." President Trump trying to turn this defeat into a campaign rallying cry. He's pledging to deliver a list of conservative justices he could put on the Supreme Court if elected to a second term. In Washington, Alice Barr, Local 4.
With major public fireworks shows canceled this year, people are still planning to celebrate the 4th with a bang. Local fireworks stores are seeing a big uptick in sales. Larry Spruill joins us live this evening. And Larry, that uptick has local first responders pretty worried.
Yeah, Karen, it's no secret that the first responders would rather have the professionals handle the fireworks show, but they do understand that a lot of people will probably do it on their own because of the cancellation of shows with COVID-19. Now, we saw a lot of people go inside the store buying some cool things like this nightstick, fireworks stick right here, but we also realized that a lot of the customers, this would be their first time buying fireworks.
This has been fantastic.
And Robert Banky with Pro Fireworks in Sterling Heights has the foot traffic to prove it. All day Thursday, people stopped inside the store buying the newest fireworks. But this year, there's a different crowd.
We're talking 10, 15, 20 people a day who are new. Come and say, hey, I've never done this before. Can you help me out?
First-time fireworks buyers are using this season to experiment because most cities are either canceling or modifying their big shows due to COVID-19.
Just because I have my daughter up here for the summer and, you know, it's our way of, you know, celebrating 4th of July.
Jeffrey Delfrate and his daughter are lighting fireworks on their own this year.
I just picked the random ones because, I don't know, whichever ones make the biggest boom.
Some assortments have been flying off the shelves.
Business is also booming at Phantom Fireworks just up the street, but Sterling Heights Fire Chief Chris Martin says there are some rules you must obey.
According to the law that's written, only June 29th, June 30th, July 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th are the only days you can do it for the 4th of July holiday, and that's from 11 a.m. to 11:45 p.m.
And Martin says there are a lot of other rules you have to remember. For instance, he says that you can only light up fireworks on private property, which means you can't do it in the middle of a street, on the sidewalk, or a park. Also to have a bucket of water and a water hose beside you as well. We're live in Sterling Heights tonight. Larry Spruill, Local 4.
All right, some good advice. Thank you, Larry.
Sure is. They are businesses that are on the brink from the COVID-19 pandemic.
New tonight, the major pledge one organization is making to keep Black-owned restaurants open and thriving.
Also, what were they doing up there? New here at 5, what were government drones doing flying high above the Black Lives Matter protests in Detroit? Sean.
Only on Local 4, the Defenders showing you this police pursuit video. It is wild.